Existential Courage by Rollo May. Rollo May was a very important author on existential courage, especially since he was taught by Paul Tillich, his tutor. And his views on existential courage kept developing. He wrote many books about it that are relevant. Not just his book on anxiety, where he does speak about courage as well, but notably his book, The Courage to Create, and also the book Discovery of Being, is very much about being in touch with your existential courage, which for him was pretty much the motor of psychological health and well-being. The capacity, as he identified it, the capacity of moving forward despite despair or difficulty or threats in your life. He also believed that without courage, other human virtues like love or fidelity or honesty would remain unactualized potential. So, existential courage for him is linked to different forms of anxiety. He distinguished between normal and neurotic anxiety, and saw that as the crucible of how we find our courage. So normal anxiety is the inevitable reaction you have to actual threats of your existence, your finitude, your freedom, having to make choices, the fact you'll be lonely, the fact sometimes things won't seem very meaningful. You cannot eliminate those threats, so you will have anxiety. So what he called normal anxiety is actually existential anxiety. It is the anxiety of being alive and needing to find this extra energy in yourself to be prepared to deal with the predictable challenges of human existence. So that's normal anxiety, existential anxiety, as I say. But there is also neurotic anxiety, which is a reaction that is disproportionate to these threats. And it is usually related to you worrying about what other people will think about you, or it is related to things you have repressed, ways in which you have become paralyzed in your life. Neurotic anxiety shows up your tendency to want it easy in life, to escape from the normal challenges and to escape from your normal existential anxiety, which is actually a very good thing for you. As Tillich said, most normal people can tolerate a certain amount of anxiety, but neurotic or vulnerable defensive people can only tolerate a tiny amount of anxiety. They become really upset about any form of anxiety and just want to eliminate it. So that is a problem in itself. Learning to stand the anxiety is where you learn your existential courage, my friend. To confront that existential anxiety and tolerate it, and more than that, to use it, is a very important aspect of human existence. One of Rollo May's pupils, my colleague Kirk Schneider, has shown how indeed it is important for our society that people are willing to feel this anxiety, because only when we are feeling that kind of optimal anxiety are we prepared to face life as it is and to be truly in contact, in deep relationship to other people. If we try to avoid it and flee from it, we are not really fully alive at all. Now, Rollo May made distinctions between different sorts of courage. He spoke about physical courage, for instance, in the machismo of somebody who goes and conquers the world, or the bravado of a soldier. But for him, true physical courage is actually about using your physical senses, cultivating your physical empathy and your sensitivity and your bodily connections to other people. So it is about staying vulnerable. As Kirk would say, being open to that anxiety and how it resonates with other people and gives you the capacity for empathy with others is pretty vital. May also spoke about moral courage, which is the stamina to stand against injustice. And of course that comes again from feeling anxious about injustice, from allowing yourself to resonate with injustice being a bad thing and not running away from it. It's about facing social isolation. It is about not running with the crowd or jumping onto bandwagons. But, it's not about winning medals. It is about actually standing up against the hypocrisies of your time, and that is usually unpopular rather than popular. So that leads us to social courage, where May identifies two great fears that haunt us: the fear of isolation, being totally alone, and the fear of engulfment, which is to lose your identity within a relationship. Both of these are not very good. It's a horrible feeling to feel isolated, but it's also a horrible feeling to feel taken over and to lose yourself in that way. So social courage is the capacity to stand in the dialectic of being an independent, autonomous individual, whilst at the same time letting down your guard and allowing for true intimacy. Which leads us to creative courage, which for May was the highest and rarest form of courage, which is not reserved for artists only. Anyone can show creative courage by living an authentic life. It is about forging form out of apparent chaos. It is about daring to create something new when other people are just frightened about things. It is to find new forms, new symbols, new patterns, and provide those to others, to society, to build on and play with. So creative people are not afraid of the blank canvas of nothingness. They take it on the chin. They allow the universe to go absurd or meaningless at times, because they have the audacity to express their own way of looking at that, to transforming something and to express new visions of reality. And that takes us to May's confrontation with the daimonic. May spoke a lot about the daimonic, a natural function or urge such as your sexuality, your anger, your desire for power in the world, your grieving when you lose things. this can take you over. It is a very strong and powerful force within you, and it can feel deeply destructive at times, but it actually, says May, becomes more destructive when you repress it and try to deny it. So when you allow it, it becomes the source of all creative energy and vitality, and it is therefore the power behind your existential courage. So existential courage is something that you craft over a lifetime. It is not something you are just born with. You learn to tolerate your anxiety and you allow it to be the catalyst for living fully. You risk personal and interpersonal intimacy and you maintain yourself. You create meaning and art out of something that seems like the void. You face the dark passions into a creative vitality. That, my friend, is to truly live with existential courage.